Fuck yeah. So I guess I should give you a proper introduction here. Stand-up comedian extraordinaire, DJ Rybski. You and I, what is it, 2 years ago we met at this point? You were opening up for Dylan. I think it was November of 21.
Yeah, it had to be 2 years ago up in old
Yeah.
Oshkosh.
Yeah, it was, you went to the after bar. I was with our friend Ken now. I guess he can be your friend too.
Yeah.
And Ken just started talking to you, and here we are. I think we ran into you at Skyline in Appleton, like randomly. And then I think that's really what kickstarted the old friendship here.
Yeah.
Who are you opening for?
That time, I think it was John Heffron.
Okay, yeah, because we couldn't fucking remember to save our lives. I think they'd offered us free tickets. That's how we ended up there.
Yeah, it was definitely John Heffron. Yeah, it was a good show.
It was a great
the Oshkosh Community Theater, that was a pretty cool venue. I like that. I mean, like the closest row was like 15 feet away, but I like that part of the country.
The God's country.
Hell yeah, dude.
Yeah, we do every Friday before our big wrestling event. We do a thing at the Time Theater.
Oh, that's really cool.
Yeah, a couple years ago, and I don't know how much you pay attention to wrestling, but I want to get back into that because I'm curious how you got to open for Dylan, because as far as I know, you're not a huge wrestling fan.
I mean, I watched wrestling growing up, so I did know who he was. Like, we had all the WWF, then we had like the WWE, and then like some of it progressed. I'm obviously not like a diehard wrestling fan now. But when someone was like, "Do you want to open for Hornswoggle?" I was like, "Fucking Hornswoggle, dude!" Like I knew who it was. Like, you know what I mean? It was one of those things where it was kind of cool. I felt. I mean, some of my friends were more jealous. There's a weird connection between comics and wrestling. I don't know what it is. Yeah. So some comics were a little bit more jealous. Like, dude, you fucking opened for Hornswoggle. But yeah, it was cool. It's a good show.
It's weird. Like, I went and saw Big J with Dylan, and Big J and obviously Dan Soder. Soder's a big wrestling fan, and Big J is at least like adjacent. So it was kind of uncomfortable to see them like lock eyes. And then it became a thing because not only is he a little person, but Big J knew who he was.
Did he call him out during the show?
He did. Not like cool. To be a dick. He was just like,
yeah.
So it was kind of weird. Oh, he's fucking, yeah. And then Dylan ended up on his flight like the next morning or some shit because he was going to Disney with his kid, and Big J was flying home.
I like that theater that the show was at, because there's one like that in Chicago too. It's kind of like an old theater that's kind of been preserved. And like, it's a Music Box Theater in Chicago. Me and my girlfriend, we just saw Rocky Horror Picture Show there, which is really cool. She's never been before. But I like those theaters that show the old movies, show the independent film, like we went there the Music Box Theater in Chicago, and we watched the international shorts that were like up for awards. So they have like options to view stuff like that, which I think is pretty cool.
I mean, that's what you get living in a real city. Like, Oshkosh doesn't get that. They'll show old movies once in a while at that theater, and that's really about it.
Really?
The coolest thing they did was, so there's I don't know how much you pay attention to like underground doom metal, which I'd be really shocked if you're like big fan. But there's
actually, I got this tattoo. Let me show you. No, I'm kidding.
That'd be fucking awesome. There's a record store across the street, which you may or may not have noticed, called the Rolling Winds.
I did not know
the guy
that,
who started it he started a record label called Gilead Media.
This is the guy. Wait, sorry, I don't mean to interrupt, but there's a guy that also has a shop in Appleton, and I guess they have another location. Is that it?
Yep, same one.
That's the same guy. Okay, because I went to that record shop when I was at Skyline last.
Oh, you did?
That's cool. I did, yeah.
Yeah. Adam started Gilead Media, and then they made a documentary about him. And then they showed it at that theater, which was kind of fucking cool to actually watch a movie there. Except the sound is horrendous because, it's still a sound system from like 1960 or whatever the fuck they built that thing.
Yeah.
So I guess I didn't really do a ton of preparation because I like to not do that. But
I'm all about it.
Perfect. So obviously we touch base. You are a comedian, and you're young compared to me. But how did you kind of get, like, what made you want to do comedy? That's always like the weirdest thing.
I've heard so many comedians talk about this exact situation, and it's no different than theirs. My dad had a few Chris Rock specials on DVD, and I would watch them when they'd go to sleep. It's always Chris Rock too, which is very funny. But I remember I was just like, I was young, 9, 10 years old, and every time I'd pop this DVD in, and it'd be like, it was one where he's talking about strippers and Claire Heels.
Mm-hmm.
But I remember the bit so much. I'm like, I want to be Chris Rock, but I can't because
I
Just
mean, there's
rocking
cultural differences.
slightly. Yeah.
It's like which is funny because one of and I don't want to like blow up any of your bits, but one of my favorite ones of yours is the I'm a little Asian. Like it's not that
Yeah.
bad. It's fucking hilarious just because it's
No, thank
so
you.
much something that like a dumb human being would say, not thinking.
Yeah. No, that's true. That actually happened.
Oh, I'm
Somebody
sure.
actually said that, dude. I didn't even like write that.
So I'm assuming most of your bits are centered in reality and like interactions you've had with people.
Yeah, I mean, they're obviously. I'm not trying to be like Hassan Minaj here. You know, I feel like everything is based in truth. Like I have a joke about how somebody offered me heroin on the train. Like the punchline of that isn't true, but like I remember being a kid and that would happen, and like people
Mhm.
would do crazy shit. So that's how I come up with the premises, and then from there I'm just like, well, what's funniest? You know. But I feel like everything is based in some truth.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I think that's what makes it truly funny or truly relatable and funny is when it does come from a place of reality. And it's like you see a lot of scrutiny, maybe I guess would be a good way to put it. But Burt Kreischer and like how his stories are clearly, I don't want to say embellished, but they are inflated to an extent.
Yeah,
But that's his personality is so big, and now you have people who are pissing and moaning because it's like, well, this can't all be true. It's like, well, it's fucking entertainment. Like he's there to make you laugh, and he's there to like tell stories and be funny. Like,
but I think you could also like go into it and like buy into the character that like, yeah, this guy's gonna tell you stories that honestly he would probably tell you at the bar anyway. You know what I mean?
mhm,
Like most stories that people tell are kind of bullshit in some way.
absolutely.
You know, like when you talk about when you're with your girlfriend and she's like, tell that story about how this happened. You've added some stuff on. You've changed it. You know.
It's like a never ending game of telephone where it's like every time you tell it, it gets a little bigger and it gets a little longer and a little different.
Yeah, but I think if you go into a Burt Crunch thing, I think you have to buy in. Like, yeah, he's going to tell some stories, and you don't know. Some of it
Fuck yeah.
might be true, some of it might not be. It's same with Dangerfield, right? Like half the stuff didn't happen, but he probably really did feel like he wasn't getting respect in those ways.
Right. Well, or you assume, maybe it started with that and he made the comment and it got a laugh and then it turned
Yep.
into a bigger thing. Like that
Yeah.
that's kind of like the beauty. You've obviously been around comedy a lot. You go to a lot of comedy shows whether you're performing or not. Ken and I have had this discussion about like you go see a band and you want to see them play the hits. When you go to a comedy show, you generally don't want to hear the same shit you heard the last time you saw them. Like, do you feel the same way being a part of the community?
Like there is something to like when someone comes to a show and you're about to go up and like, hey, I saw you last time, and you're like, oh wait, what did I do that time? There is like some of that too, but it also like you do have to like it depends on where you're working, honestly. Like if it's like a bar show, like yeah, like mess around, do some new stuff, whatever. But like if you're like featuring in a club for the first time or you're headlining in a club for the first time, like do really well, get booked
Yeah.
again. So I think like that's the important thing is that the people have a good show, that the club's happy with you. But also like throw in a new minute, mix some stuff in, have some fun. Change a word, change a phrase, try and work on even if you're gonna do all the same jokes, try and change one little thing. I think that's just what keeps it interesting.
Yeah. So when do you sit down and write, or do you just kind of like have ideas and you sketch notes and
I,
then
s- I, I
move?
sit down, so I'll be on my phone all day. Like if I go through my notes app, it's a mess, and I'll kind of just jot a bunch of stuff down.
Mhm.
I'm not showing you. I'm just on Grinder.
No, that's fine.
No, I'm kidding. But so I just have like just endless notes on my phone. But like most of it, it's just like chicken scratch. And then what I do is if I like it, I'll either say it at an open mic first, or I'll come here and I'll kind of just type it into Google Drive at like 2 in the morning and just try and figure it out that way.
So,
So
do you do open mics weekly?
yeah.
Yeah, it all in. I'm assuming in the Chicago area because you're on the south side, right?
I live on the north side now, but yeah,
Oh,
pretty
you
much.
do. Okay. So is
Yeah,
I know you feature a headline. I don't know the difference, and I apologize for that. But you at the Zanies in Rosemont, the one that I messaged you about last week. Is that like one of your normal spots?
yeah. In Chicago, I work at Zany's the most. Zany, they have two locations, which is nice. One in Old Town, one in Rosemont. But then there's also like there's great clubs like the Comedy Vault, Batavia. I work there quite a bit.
Oh, nice,
CG's Comedy Club in Bolingbrook. Last Factory, I'll do once or twice a month. Um,
nice.
but yeah, I mean that's the one good thing about the Midwest. There's a lot of really great clubs here. I mean Skyline in Appleton is phenomenal. And even just in Wisconsin, the Laughing Tap. They have an improv now. The Comedy Cabin in Janesville is a really killer
Yeah.
club. Comedy on Stage is supposed to be the best club in the country in Madison. I've never been, but there's a lot of good clubs in the Midwest, a lot that have just been around forever. You know, like I think Appleton is actually, I think it's the, I don't know if this is true. People always say this shit about clubs. I think it's the northernmost comedy club in the United States.
I wouldn't. Yeah, I won't fucking know. Green Bay doesn't have one. That would be a little more north, and I don't think. I mean, there isn't a whole lot more north of Green Bay in terms of cities. You get Shawano, and Wausau, other weird ones.
Yeah.
Is there a club in Eau Claire?
No, there's no club up there.
It's like I know you've done shows up there, but for all I know, they're bar shows
Yeah, they're
or
bar
just in a
shows,
theater.
breweries,
Okay.
stuff like that. I know in the UP of Michigan, they have like the longest, they have like one-nighters that have been going on for 30, 40 years, but no club.
Oh shit. Huh. I guess I never knew that.
Yeah.
It's so I mean I didn't grow up here, but we used to come up here once in a while to go to Skyline when I was a kid. So then when I moved up here and it's like now fucking 2-3 times a month I just go flip through the calendar and there's always like Jason Mewes is coming back. We just got tickets for David Koechner. TJ Miller comes all the fucking time.
They're getting the best acts. Definitely getting
It's
the, like,
insane.
it's an A club for sure, you know?
Really?
Oh, yeah.
I
Yeah, I
just
mean,
figured by
so they're,
size, like
I mean, I think it holds probably 150, 200, 200 people, you know?
it's hard to tell because it's dark and everyone's fucking nuts to
Yeah.
butts and you never want to go to the bathroom because you're gonna trip and shit. It's a whole
They
thing.
they have a drink. So during COVID, my girlfriend used to have her family used to have like a lake house in Kiel, Wisconsin. But we went up
Yep.
during COVID when Nate Bargatze came through Appleton, which was insane to see him
Oh,
at half capacity in a club as small as Skyline. It was amazing. But the story isn't in the show. The story is my girlfriend got a drink called the Badger that they have at
I
Skyline.
fucking
It's
know
like,
exactly what you're talking
oh,
about.
it's like they literally will not give you two of them. They're like, no,
Nope.
you get
I
one.
think they changed the name to the Zombie now, but yeah,
Really? I mean, it's like
yeah.
300% alcohol. It's the most Wisconsin drink ever. You know, so sometimes the late
Mhm.
night shows that club get, they're fun, man. But people walk out of there just
They're walking in
like any
cursive.
club, like any club, you know. But
Well, and that's the thing is like, so we always go to the early ones for that reason
yeah,
because so we saw Bill Burr in Milwaukee at the late show and he ended up fucking just having to fight, like verbally fight a guy in the front row who wouldn't shut the fuck up. And it was just like the guy
wow.
behind me fell asleep
Where
and
was that
started
at?
snoring. The High Life Theater. So it's a big fucking place, but like, you know, the guy's snoring and then fucking for us, you're getting home at 1 a.m. if it's over at
Oh
11 and
yeah,
it's just not ideal. So that's why we always do Thursday early or I mean, then generally don't have late shows on Thursdays, but Thursday early is the best. So then we play shows, we can still do that and can still have a fucking weekend. But so I guess we did kind of get here by way of horror. Like
yeah.
I'd rather talk to you about comedy because that's new to
No,
me.
let's talk about that. I want to get into this. This is what I'm
Well,
here
we'll
for.
we'll we'll go back and forth. It's gonna be all over the place. But so my one question to people that aren't of a horror background is, what is your background in horror? Like, I know it's super casual, but did you watch it as a kid? Was it a later in life thing?
So I think I didn't get. I have a weird connection. Not I would say a weird connection to horror, but like so my uncle Jimmy, who passed as pastor, he was like he used to come over every week and like help out around the house.
Mhm.
Huge horror movie guy. Like anything from the 80s, 90s, 70s, he watched all of it and he would scare the hell out of me with it, right? And then I have an older brother who like the same way. Like I sent you the video of him. He's a musician. Hot Topic did like a little interview with him where they
Wait, wait, wait,
like,
wait. That that wait, is that your brother or is that your
yeah, it's my
brother sent
brother.
you the video? I
No,
thought you
that's my
said your
brother.
brother sent you the video.
No, that's my brother in the video.
Oh, what the fuck? I missed that.
Yeah,
That
yeah.
changes
So
things
that's my
quite
older brother.
drastically.
So
Oh shit, dude.
um, I don't know if you have the tech, but people will find the video. My brother, he's a musician, he's a design and
Mhm.
designer, very good musician, but he did an interview with Hot Topic. They did like a profile on him, and he's like on the horror movies. So they played
Yeah.
parts of these horror movies, and they made him guess if he could figure out what it is. He knew every single one. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
They
So
were
they
they were
were very much
softballs
on.
though for anyone that watches horror.
Oh, yeah, of course they
Yeah.
were. You know, but so he knows all the movies. He had all the memorabilia, all the merch. He'd go to all the releases, and then I think we were just so polar opposites. Where like I was
Mhm.
just like I was, dude, I'm so afraid of horror movies. Like I get scared. Like I like watching them, but like I truly like it's like lights on. I won't watch them at night by myself, dude. Like, are you losing respect for me?
No, not at all. I'm just like I'm married to someone who will turn them on to go to sleep.
That's insane.
I also like 2/3 of my back is a big horror tattoo too. So it's like it's kind of this is what I did in high school.
You just watch horror movies.
We would just because I mean, so I grew up in Sheboygan, which I think you've been there. I know you were
Oh
supposed to
yeah,
perform, but it's a fucking small
yeah.
town. There isn't shit to do if you're not 21. You either get in trouble or you sit in someone's basement. So we would go to Family Video, and it was still a thing, and rent horror movies, and we would just watch wherever the fuck looked decent. And that's
So
just
what was like the movie when you were a kid that like got you into horror movies?
that got me into horror movies. So my mom was a big Stephen King fan. So
Okay.
like I remember watching The Langoliers on TV. That I'm aging
Mhm.
myself, but like, oh, we gotta watch TV at 7 p.m. Langoliers is on all week. Langoliers, Tommyknockers, the original It. So
Yeah.
like that was kind of like the entrance, but before that, I watched the first Hellraiser. I borrowed someone, and I've told this story a bunch, but I borrowed a neighborhood kid's VHS tape of Hellraiser, and it scared me so badly that I buried it at the bottom of the garbage.
Really? So then at what
Yep.
point did you make the connection where like, well, this isn't real?
I'm not really sure. Like, I don't think I went back and watched Hellraiser till I was out of high school because we were watching like campy shit, like Slumber Party Massacre 2.
Mm.
Um, man, there was one. It's like a knockoff
But
of
you know, even
Jason.
even like the House of Waxes, like I mean, I've watched a lot of the horror movies, but like even like
Yeah,
House of Wax, like there's like holes in the plot, but I think that's okay with horror. I think like you're like, yeah, whatever, dude. Like there's a fucking werewolf. This guy's a machete.
yeah.
He came back. He was hit by a lightning bolt and he came back to that. I think we can get past the parts like so like those are things that I really do like about horror movies. Like I like that the car never started first. I like you know what I mean. Like the cliches are like what makes them. I think not all of them, but some of them great.
Have you ever watched like fucking Leslie Vernon or Final Girl?
I don't think so. No.
So Final Girl is like a movie within a movie. So it's a group of people that are trying to get out of a horror movie, but they don't until they like follow every horror movie trope. And then
Oh,
Leslie
okay.
Vernon is basically like a documentary about a slasher serial killer and like how he performs and all, and like how he's just going through everyday life and all this shit. So it's like those are I would call them gateway horror movies. So it's like there's horror aspects, but it's definitely on the lighter side. So if you're not a big fan and you want to enjoy something, like it kind of gets you in. So like Alyssa and I
Well,
went
the
on
thing
this
is,
terror.
I don't I like the storylines. I like the gore. Like that's not the stuff that freaks me out. It's I just don't like the jump scares, dude. Because
I
then I'm
fucking
just
hate
anxious.
jump scares.
Well, yeah, that's what I mean. That's the shit. I think that's the shit that like keeps me coming back for more. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I don't know. I don't think Saw. I don't think is Saw considered a horror movie. You know what I mean? But
Yeah.
like I could watch those. Those are fine. But like then you like some of the cheap jump scares. I'm like I don't like that shit. You know?
Well, and that's the thing. Like to me, a jump scare, all you did was catch me off guard. Generally, with something popping up in my face and loud noises. So,
Yeah.
like, um,
But then
I
I'm
play.
just anxious. I'm waiting for the next one. I'm just anxious. I'm like, okay, it's gonna get really loud, you know?
And that's the thing. What the fuck did we watch? I can't remember if it was the new Exorcist. It was a movie that recently came out, and like the only thing that I really took away from it was like you could see every jump scare coming, like a
Yeah,
fucking mile away. It was
yeah.
all. I think it was the Nun 2. I think that's what it was because I hated the first one and then I made the mistake watching the second one. But it's like you can see all that shit coming.
The horror movies that I always thought were like the scariest were the ones that felt like they could actually happen. I don't know
Yes,
this horror. Do you remember the movie Prom Night?
yes,
It
yeah.
wasn't even like that scary, but just thinking like, oh yeah, this is just like a crazy. This guy's just a stalker. This isn't like a
Mhm.
werewolf or you know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like,
and that's a good point though. It's everything that's rooted in reality. Like, obviously some guy like a 7-foot guy with a hockey mask that gets electrocuted and comes back from the dead isn't really going to happen. You're not going to get stalked by someone in your dreams who's going to murder you, but an actual human being that just stalks you. Like, have you ever seen the movie Hush?
no.
So I think it was, I don't know, but 2015, 16, somewhere in there, but it's a deaf woman who lives at home by herself,
Oh,
like in the
okay.
woods.
I do know this movie. I do know this movie.
It's
Yeah, yeah.
it's a fucking phenomenal movie, but I think it's the best because it can really happen.
Yeah, that's where
Like,
she like there's someone in the house and she's like, wait, okay, where is this part? Yeah, yeah. I
mhm.
know this movie.
Yeah, so there was
They made one similarly, didn't they? Where the guy's blind and they break into a guy's house.
I was just
It's
gonna
a
say
different
that. So
movie.
it's called Wait Until Dark.
Yeah.
It's a 70s horror movie. My mom was the one who actually told me about that because like the last 15 minutes is just pitch black and like it's cheesy as fuck, but in the 70s, I'm sure it was absolutely terrifying.
What was like the first horror movie? Like, do you know what that is? Like the first credited horror movie?
Um, fuck, I want to say that there's content like Nosferatu, like I think that's
Nosferatu.
1920
Is it bad that I
somewhere
only
around
know
there.
that from SpongeBob?
No, not at all.
Do you know that
Like
episode?
no,
The nights will. No.
no, that's where the age difference comes, and because like at one point dated a girl who was a handful of years younger than me, and she was big into SpongeBob. Like I'm just a little too
Yeah.
old. Like
Is she
it
still in
came
high
on when I
school?
was not. She was at the time, but
She
I
was
was
at the
also
time.
like just barely out of high school. That's a whole different
Yeah,
thing.
yeah.
But same thing with Pokemon. For like, I was just a little too old for Pokemon, but I have friends that are still into it because they grew up with that shit. But like,
They
I
grew up with
also,
it. Yeah.
yeah, I love The Simpsons. It's an awful TV show, but I grew up
Really,
with
I
it.
like The Simpsons. I love The Simpsons. Do you think Simpsons doesn't
You
hold
like
up?
The
Do you think
Simpsons
like
now?
I guess I haven't watched it now. But I used to like
Yeah,
when it
don't.
back when it was on like TV. I watched it. I probably
Mhm.
watched every episode
Season,
up
yep,
until I
season
was
1
like
through 11
16.
are untouchable, and I will never ever say anything else. But now it is fucking. I can't even get through a full episode.
Really? Why is that? Like
They're
what makes
poorly
good
written.
TV for you? Is it just the writing?
Yeah, so I mean, so okay, so the problem is if you compare present Simpsons to the original Simpsons, you had um I can't remember what it was, but it was like a joke a minute was what or excuse me, a
Yeah.
joke like every 10 seconds or some shit. And now it's just like they really hammer awful jokes in. It's um it's becoming super duper like inclusive woke, which I I understand, but also it's like it's a fucking cartoon. Like they're taking
In in
Homer
in
choking
in
Bart
what?
out.
Oh,
Um
really?
yeah, yeah, because that's you shouldn't trigger kids, but and I understand that, but someone watching a
Are kids
cartoon should
watching The
understand.
Simpsons? Are kids watching it? I feel like it's just people that grew up with The Simpsons watching The Simpsons.
I don't
Whatever. That's
fucking
a whole
know.
different. That's a different
Well, and that's
conversation.
like people must be because it's still on every fucking Sunday night, all fall, spring.
Yeah.
But like there was they changed a lot of the voice actors either from death or because Hank Azaria was doing like Dr. Hibbert
Yeah.
and
Yeah. Yeah.
Carl, and like I get that, but it's like they're close enough, they're passable, but still the writing is just not great. Like
Hmm.
that's what kills it for me is I don't care about not choking Bart. I don't care about the change of the voices. I don't care about any of that. That and they fucking sing all the time. And I have
I
a
don't like
very,
that.
very staunch rule. If a TV show that doesn't, if it's not a musical and it's not supposed to have singing, they start singing, I turn it off instantly.
Yeah. No, I'm completely on board with that.
Yeah. And you like Rocky Horror.
Yeah. Well,
I
I
never,
went.
never got into it.
I went. So Rocky Horror Picture Show is something that my mom and my aunt. I don't know how. So my mom and their sisters, they both have a older son, younger son. So when my brother and my cousins, when they were like 13, my mom and my aunt they took them to the Rocky Horror Picture Show. And then when I was like
Okay.
13 and my cousin was like 13, they took us 12 to 13. They took us to Rocky Horror Picture Show. I think more so just to be in a way where they're like, hey, dude, like there's like gay people, like don't be weird around them. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I think it was like a good lesson early on. But so then I got to take my girlfriend this year, which was fun. So I've only
So
been
the,
twice,
and
but it's a good time. It's a fun show.
But so that makes sense. Is like going to see it live is different than me watching it on my couch because it's a
Yeah, and
whole ass event.
I couldn't even tell you what the full movie's about. I mean, people are screaming the whole time and throwing popcorn in the air. It's like a ridiculous thing, you know?
Yeah, and that would be fun as shit.
Yeah, I
But
mean
like
that's what you
I
go
don't.
for. You know, you go
Yeah,
to
I also
scream
don't think
stuff
I
out at
watched it.
midnight and
Oh yeah, yeah. See, I don't think I watched it till I was like an adult, and
yeah, you
I
got to go with
watched it with like a
people.
bunch of dudes.
Yeah, that's the thing. You got to go with like the cast, the shadow cast or whatever. It's supposed to be fun.
And then
Oh, do you know what I saw live this year in theater at the Music Box Theater? It was a midnight showing. It was like the first time I've seen a theater that packed before that late and getting that many laughs. They Live.
oh, that's such a good movie.
And, I mean, this is a big theater, right? It's an old big
Mhm.
theater. We had never seen it. We knew obviously the lines from the movie, right? Like I came here to
Yeah.
chew bubblegum. So you know what you've seen all the fucking cliches, but seeing it
Yep.
live, seeing people laugh that hard in a movie that was not supposed to be funny, there was something really like, cool about that. You know, I really
Yeah.
enjoy that. Like I get really I love going to the movies, dude. I get sentimental when like even like when we first went to the movies when they opened back up, we went and saw the new Saw. What's it called? Spiral. Is that what it is?
Yeah. Well,
We
Saw
went and
10
saw
has come out
that.
since, but Spiral was the one
Yeah,
with Chris Rock.
that's when we saw Chris Rock. And even though we
Yeah.
drove like 40 minutes out to the theater that was open, and like I was getting like emotional. I'm like, kids aren't gonna go to the movies like they used to on a Friday, and then come home Monday and like go to school Monday and talk to their friends about it. Because now it's just everything
Mhm.
streamed, and it's fun and it's convenient, but it kind of sucks, dude. You know?
It and that's a really good point. Like, I saw Freddy versus Jason twice in the theater the weekend it came out.
Yeah, and then you see your friends like, did you see the movie? Don't talk about like it was the best. It was the best thing in the world. And I'm glad that theaters are starting to, I think they're doing well again for a little bit.
I think they are. I started going back when they came out with those fucking Dream Lounger seats.
Oh,
Like,
they're so nice.
oh, they're so good because in this, obviously it depends, but like if we go to a movie, we try to go on like a Wednesday morning at 11 a.m. when there's
Oh
two
yeah,
people there. When we saw The Nun 1, the fucking lady next to me wouldn't shut the fuck up, and it ruined it for
oh,
me. And the movie sucked to begin with, but then fucking old swamp hag next to me made it even worse. So it's shit like that that sucks because it is enjoyable to see a movie in the dark. You cannot take your phone out. It's loud. It's fucking big. Like it's an experience, and then people fucking ruin it.
they do. But sometimes, and I don't encourage it, but like, okay, I remember when we were at prom night. Actually, to bring that movie up, we were at prom night in the theaters. I had to be, I don't know, I was in elementary school, maybe
Mhm.
early high school. I don't remember. But I remember there was like a bunch of girls there. There was a bunch of guys, and I remember like you're trying to be cool, trying to impress. Sold out theater. I don't know if you remember the movie. There's a part where she's like in the bathroom looking for the stalker, and he turns and there's like a mirror, and then opens it up. There's another mirror. It's dead silent, and one guy just makes a joke. He just goes, "Another mirror," in the fucking in the theater just erupted because everybody was thinking like, "Why are there four mirrors in this girl's bathroom?" I don't
Oh
condone
fuck.
talking out during the show, but that was one of like the biggest laughs I've ever heard in my life. And you're like, and some people they try and do that. You can't do that. You can't be that guy.
No, no. I'm gonna have to go back and watch it because I did forget about that. So, um, our friend Glitter, who's in our chat right now, mentioned seeing
Hmm.
Titanic twice in the theater. So, and I
Yeah,
know I've told the story, but I remember going to see Titanic because I was trying to touch some boobs, and the theater was so fucking packed that I had to sit on the floor in the aisle.
really.
There was like 4 or 5 of us that went. I was in middle school at the time, and it was like we just sat on the floor because we couldn't find seats together. I was like, movie theaters do not get that packed anymore. I remember standing in fucking line to see The Matrix 2. Um, I think Lord of the Rings. I went with my brother once, and then the third Lord of the Rings or the episode 3, Star Wars episode 3. It was like I went midnight and shit. You had to stand in line to get a decent seat, and
Yeah, I mean, I'm 28, but I remember seeing some of the newer Star Wars movies when they came out, and just seeing how big of a deal that was. Even like, dude, I mean, like the Born Ultimatums in the theater. I used to go with my
mhm.
dad, and like those were a fucking event. Those were like a sellout event. Where now, like, if an action movie comes out, people are like, yeah, yeah, we'll watch it while we're on our
We'll watch it
phones.
later.
Yeah, we'll watch it
And
later. Or it'll be on our phones. You know.
so many movies they're streaming on the same day as they get released in the theater. That was like and if not, it's shortly thereafter. Like Saw 10 was in the theater, and then like 2 weeks later it was streaming. Five Nights at Freddy's, I think it hit the theater, and then it was 2 days later it was on
I
streaming.
heard that
And it's
movie is
like
pretty good. I heard people really like that movie.
it's enjoyable. It's
Is
a
it more
gateway
of a
horror movie.
comedy? Oh, it's a gay. Okay,
um
okay. Because I know it was like a
Not
lot of kids
quite.
going to see it.
Yeah, do you even play video games?
Not
Yeah, okay.
really.
So but do you have the general understanding of what the game is? It's all jump scares.
Is it really? Is that okay?
Yeah, so you just flip between cameras, and then you have to look at the animatronics to stop them, and eventually, if they get to the control room, they fucking kill you. But there's this whole
I
weird
had no, I
story.
had no idea it was even a video game.
Oh, I don't think most people do. Like, you can just
Yeah.
go on YouTube and watch a playthrough if you're really curious. But the first movie follows the first game pretty religiously, from what I understand. I didn't
Hmm.
play it. I've just but it is. I think it is made for children, so it's just implied gore. There's a little bit of blood. There's no like real there's nothing really graphic, but it was a decent watch for 90 minutes, quick in and out. I didn't hate it. Alyssa didn't hate it, and she hates video games.
Yeah. I just like going to the movies. I like seeing. I do like that some of these movies coming out aren't all fucking remakes or aren't Marvel Cinematic Universe shit. Yeah, I know this is like a hack premise, but it is nice to see like other shit come out and be like,
I agree.
okay, you know,
But still, it's a new concept to see. Like I love the
yeah.
Alan Wake games. I want to
Mm,
see that as a movie because I just want to see it in a 90-minute, 2-hour format as opposed to a 11-hour endeavor of walking around and doing all this shit.
yeah.
Plus the story's good as fuck, but
What do
um
you, as a horror movie guy, what do you think about M Night Shyamalan? Shyamalan. How do you say
shit.
it?
I thought it was Shyamalan, but I've heard Shamalian. I just call him Shamalim and Ding Dong because I don't fucking know.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, um, I really liked The Village, and I thought
Hmm.
Signs was really good, but it was kind
Hmm.
of the same thing as like Saw. Like the first couple, no one ever sees it fucking coming. By number 10 and 11, you're just like, okay, when's the twist going to come? And the same thing with Shyamalan or whatever. That doesn't stop me from watching them.
He would have been like a great comic with like the Mr. X. You know, like I feel like if he
Or
was a comedian
Insufferable.
or insufferable,
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's clever, but
I tell you what, I hate him. I will never forgive him for what he did to the Avatar: The Last Airbender movie. To
oh,
me, that's my horror movie. He messed, dude. It was an Asian guy in the whole series, and he fucking books a white guy for the movie. The guy's name is Aang in the cartoon, and this is like a huge show. Like this
yeah.
series is so foul. He changes the name from Aang to Ong. He just like changes the pronunciation of the fucking guy's name in the.
I guess at least he didn't change it to like fucking Roger.
But it was just so bad. That would have been crazy.
That
But I would
and
like that more
that's
because I'm like, you just change the name, that's fine. But I'm like, you just changed the pronunciation. Like you didn't like how we were pronounced. Like screw you, dude.
that's actually more disrespectful in my opinion than had he just changed it to fucking Roger.
Yeah,
Like
Roger could have
like
been his American name, you know?
true. I'm the Avatar, the Last Airbender, or Avatar, the blue water fuck stuff.
Mm.
Like neither are in my wheelhouse. I fell asleep during the first Avatar movie, and I refused to watch the second. I know that the Avatar, the Last Airbender, is a different thing, but
We tried to go. We tried to see. Was it The Way of the Water? We tried to see that, dude. We fell asleep
yeah,
like 30 minutes in.
that's just and isn't it another 3-hour movie?
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of the
See,
3-hour movies, dude. Even like I know it's not a horror movie, but like The Irishman, people are like you gotta see
yeah,
it, and I'm like I don't have time. I don't have time to watch this fucking movie.
fucking
You know,
friend, a buddy of mine's dad was in that movie.
Sebastian
He
Maniscalco.
no, Vito Picone. He's the maitre d
That
at the
adds up.
restaurant.
That adds up.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
pretty
it's
cool.
fucking yeah. It was that fucking. Well, I only watched it to see that, and I'm like, yeah, it's my friend's dad.
What?
That
Let me
was
ask
it.
you this: What country makes the best like horror movies, like foreign horror movies outside of the U.S.? Does
Korea,
the U.S. even make good
probably.
horror movies? Are we like known for our horror movies?
Not really. Everything's now just gore porn. It's all gore porn. Like I like Terrifier. Terrifier 2 is like a bit much. Terrifier 3 is, I believe, just gonna jump the fucking shark.
Yeah, I saw Heebie-Jeebies as a kid. I like that movie a lot.
You should watch was something Mr. Boogedy. It was like the Disney. It was a Nickelodeon horror TV show.
All right, dude, don't fucking. If you let me
And I'm
tell you
not, dude.
something,
I'm not
man.
even being a dick about it. It's one of those like cheesy kids shit. It's pretty fucking great.
Courage the Cowardly
Another
Dog freaks me out.
say that again.
Courage the Cowardly Dog, pretty scary show.
Huh.
It
I
was on Nickelodeon, not Nickelodeon. It was on Cartoon Network. You
That's just
remember
not
that?
a
It was
sense
like
I expected to hear tonight.
that. It's
Like,
scary.
yeah.
Well, I'm talking about this is when I was a little kid. I was young. I was like, I don't know, 18, 19. It would just it should have.
It was I just graduated from high school and Courage the Cowardly Dog scared the shit out of me.
A real
Uh,
horror show, a good horror series, 16 and Pregnant.
oh, dude, I fucking love, I love that show. I love 90 Day Fiance, Love After Lockup, all that shit. Dude, so fucking when I was at Days of the Dead, I ran into a guy who was on Love After Lockup. I was hammered. And
Yeah,
so let me paint you a fucking picture. So have you ever been to the Crown Plaza in Rosemont?
I have. Yeah.
Okay, so you stand in the lobby, and then the line kind of wraps around to where all the conference rooms are, and like we sit in the lobby and drink until the line is short enough for us to get in. So
Mhm.
as we round the corner, I see someone dragging a fucking canoe into the conference room, and I'm like, "What the fuck?" And someone goes, "Hey, the guy who owns the canoe from Friday the 13th one is here. He's getting it signed by Jason." And I'm like, "Weird. Okay."
Wait, how does
Fast
he?
forward,
Okay, okay.
I don't. And that's the thing. I should have asked, but I'm walking around looking for an action figure, and all of a sudden I look up and I see the dude from fucking Love After Lockup. He was in Iowa, big horror movie collector guy, and I just said, "I fucking love Love After Lockup. Can I get a picture with you?" And he was like, "Yeah, sure, whatever." And I'm like,
That's
all
fucking
drunk, and
cool.
he's like,
That's
"Yeah."
cool.
But he's the guy who owns the fucking canoe, and I wish I would have asked him. Like 10 minutes later, I was like, should have asked where you got that canoe from.
Who's like whatever? I mean, to own the canoe would be kind of cool, I guess.
But why? The
Because
fuck
you
are you
have the
gonna do with
money.
the canoe?
You have the money, you know.
I guess he was on TV.
He's got TV money.
He's I don't know if
Doesn't pay much.
WeTV is paying a whole lot, yeah, for their
I don't
Love
think it
After
pays too much.
Lockup series. So I work with the guy who was on House Hunters International, and
Mm.
he said they got $1,500 for 5 days of 8 hours a day shooting. That's it.
Yeah, I don't think you get paid much. Well, that's why people don't do sitcoms anymore because the reality shows are so cheap to make. Actually,
That
this
makes
was
sense.
this is completely different. But that night that we met at that show in Oshkosh, I don't know if
Mhm.
you remember this. There was a guy at that
Uh,
show with his girlfriend, probably like 35, 36, and he came up to me and he's like, "Hey, this is my girlfriend. We run ghost tours, ghost hunting. We were ghost hunters. We're Midwest ghost hunters." And I was like,
yep.
"Oh, sick, dude." He's like, "Yeah, dude, we find them all the time." And I was like, "You find the ghosts all the time?" He's like, "We get signals." And I was like, "What does this mean, dude?" And he's like, "No, man." And he was just telling me he goes around and he just got the fucking. You know what did you meet this guy? Was he there?
I know who you're talking about. I've never met him, even though we have like a lot of friends in common. I've never
Yeah.
met the guy, and like, I want you to finish your story, but it's like, Alyssa and I did a ghost hunt in Florida years and years and years ago, and
I
like
was just
shit
saying,
went down.
do you think it's real? Do you think it or do you think it's more like a thing like it's in the imagination?
So I can tell you my experience and what happened to me, and then you can like. I'm not saying it's real. I'm not saying it's fake. I'm just saying that I have firsthand experience of things that leads me to believe that there's something going on. So,
Mm-hmm.
um, when I was 19, my best friend died in a car accident. He had just turned 21. So
Okay.
fast forward, um, actually the day of his wake. So at my parents' house, my bedroom. Okay, so you go upstairs, you go down a hall, and then the hall would kind of come to a T. So you go straight into a bathroom, right into my dad's office, left into my bedroom. So the night of his wake, I was standing in the middle of those three doors, and my dad has like old school like CD burning equipment, like consoles, not fucking computer shit. Um, the CD burner turned itself on and started registering audio. And for this thing to register audio, the receiver would need to be on, and then either the tape deck or the CD player would need to also be on and playing something. So only the CD burner turned on, registered audio, and then it turns off and says goodbye, which is normal. But then my phone rang and it was Nate's phone calling me, which it was his mom calling me from Nate's phone, not realizing, but it was just like the way the occurrence, the way that it happened.
Yeah, that's crazy. Yeah,
Yep.
just that alone. Okay, so keep going. What
Yep.
else
So,
happened?
yep. Fast forward to we're in Florida, and it was Alyssa and I and another couple, and then like our ghost tour lady, and we were just kind of talking about our experiences. And I told that story, and we were sitting with EMF detectors in front of us. And as I'm getting into the story, it starts picking up, and someone's taking pictures of me, and there's just an orb going over my head in a picture. So like, and I'm getting fucking goosebumps talking about this. So it's like to me that was Nate being there and saying like, dude, I'm good. Like we're good. Like I'm still around.
Yeah.
Later that night, we were upstairs. It's the top floor of this hotel. And what they would do is if you've ever watched a ghost show, they take like those flashlights that you kind of screw to turn on. So you put the batteries
Mm-hmm.
in, and then as you tighten it, it turns on. So you turn it to a point where it just turns off. So you set them, and then you would ask questions, and then the spirit would turn it on and off based on what you would say. And it was fairly accurate or just really, really coincidental occurrences. So as we're doing it, I'm just taking pictures with my phone, and the ghost tour lady was like, "Oh, are you a child?" And I took a picture, and I'll have to fucking dig it out and send it to you, but it literally looks like a kid sitting in front of a box with his hands on it, just looking at me. And like I've shown it to people without pointing out where it is, and they can see it in a
That's
pitch black
crazy.
fucking room. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So it's like, so I'm not saying it's real. I'm not saying it's fake. I'm just saying that's what I've experienced. So and I have talked to a medium. So a friend, a good friend of mine, was murdered a couple years after he moved out of Sheboygan. So it fucked me up a little bit because he was stabbed to death, and then the guy put his
Yeah.
body in a
Sorry to hear.
dumpster. No, I mean, I appreciate it, but so I talked to a medium, and even she was like telling me stuff that I knew, but she didn't know. So I'm like, there has to be something else going on here, because those occurrences just don't happen like that without something else. I could be wrong. I could just be filling in the gaps to make myself feel better, but I don't know.
But it seems like everybody has a story, you know,
And
or
I
some
think and
weird
to certain
thing.
yeah, and I think to a certain extent, in most cases, people kind of alter their perception or what they experience to make it fit the narrative that they're trying to share. So we
Mhm.
were talking about this at band practice one time, actually, and it was like there's a study where you remember certain things, and then the older you get, you kind of solidify it, even though no one else can tell you that this really happened.
Mhm.
So there was when I was a kid, I remember looking. So my parents had a ranch house when I was really, really young, and I used to climb on top of my dresser every day and open up the blinds. And I remember vividly opening the blinds and just seeing a dude's face there, and he just turned on and ran away. And it was like first floor. There was a field behind my parents' house. It could have happened, but no one else in my family is like, this never happened. I don't know what you're talking about. So what I believe is I had a nightmare, and at this point in life, I've just assumed that this was a real thing that happened because I can't prove otherwise. But no one else thinks it happened. So I think that's kind of where what it is
You were a cute kid
people.
too, so it's possible, you know.
Thanks, buddy. So so I do think that people fill in their own gaps and make the story fit what they're trying to get across. Um, so once again, like I don't know if it's real or not, but that's what helps me cope with
Yeah.
fucking being an adult.
When I was in college, I took a class on like witchcraft and like Wiccan practice, and it was taught by someone that like actually practices and everything. It's a really great professor. And one of my final project, I had to go to this like witchcraft store in Chicago, and I sat down and I like interviewed all these witches, and they were just telling me about like how they got into it, how they feel. Like the one lady was like, she was not Wiccan. Who are the people that actually came up with Christmas? You know what I'm talking about? Like that believe in deities
Um,
and
yeah, it's not Wiccan.
the
It's gonna drive me
Viking.
nuts.
It's like Viking word or something. Whatever. I'm drawing a blank. But she was like, yeah, she's like, I have these strong desires and I have these feelings. And she goes, I feel like I'm taking on whatever deity it was. And she goes, that's why I like he lives inside of me. And I was like, yeah, I can't tell you that it doesn't. That's how you feel, you know? But it was like such an interesting thing and like what led all these people into it.
Pagan. Thank you, buddy.
Paganism, that's what it is. Pagan.
Yep,
Thank
yep.
you.
But that's the thing. So when I was in high school, I dated a girl whose family was like ultra fucking religious. I went to private schools, so and I
Yeah.
think you did too. But so
Mm.
it's like religion's kind of one of those things. But I remember I was wearing an ICP hockey jersey that I not long after got my first underage drinking while wearing. So I got that credit to my name. But um, I remember they would have like these weird like prayer circles and shit in the basement. And they like talked me into going because I used to have like chronic headaches. And then they're like, we're gonna pray over you and they're gonna go away. And they like
Did,
didn't, but they prayed over me, but the headaches didn't stop. And I was just
when
kind
they,
of like,
what would they do? Would they like stick their hands over you
hmm?
and they just do a little? She's like, that's fucking crazy to me. Anything with like mega, and you know, like I know I just talked about like accepting of pagans and all this stuff, but like some of the church, as long as you're a good person and you don't, whatever, I believe it.
Hmm.
Like I don't know, I grew up Catholic. A lot of my friends they hate that their parents are still Catholic. I'm like, great. I'm just happy that they get out of the house on Sunday. You know what I mean? But like
Yeah.
then I have friends who grew up like that, where they're like, yeah, dude, it was pretty much a fucking cult. Where they're like, we spoke in tongues, we tried to heal people, we did these weird like you ever see like the exorcism, not exorcism videos, but like where the preacher's like doing this and the person's like go like what do
Mhm.
you? That's not normal, you know?
No, God, no, fuck no. And it was pretty close to that, where it was just like a bunch of middle aged people in a basement, like hands up in the air type shit, and praying over whomever, and it. I think so. Religion is another one of those things where it's like it exists to make you feel better. But
Hmm.
my problem with Christianity is, and I don't know, man. You've seen me on a normal night. Like I don't look like I go to church, and the whole point of church is you're supposed to accept everyone. But when you go to a Christian church, it is literally the most judged you'll ever get in your entire fucking life is at a Christian church.
Yeah.
It,
I mean,
yeah.
I went to like a pretty quaint like Catholic church. And we don't like went on Christmas and Easter outside of when I was at school, but
Oh,
they
fuck,
I
dude.
was
I
lucky.
was.
I wasn't on the side, like at least the church I went to, like there was no like hey, gay people aren't allowed here. Like there was really none of that. I think it was more kind of like a don't ask, don't tell type thing.
I don't remember gays being a thing, but small town. I mean, I grew up in a city of 50,000 people. I mean, and that this is the weird thing is like so I was Catholic till 17, then I got confirmed Lutheran. So I went to
Mhm.
Catholic grade school, Lutheran high school. My dad's Catholic, my mom's Lutheran, and I basically was like, dude, if you guys want me to keep going to church, like I'm going to pick the one that is a little more close to what I want to do, you
Yeah.
know. My dad took it very hard, didn't talk to me for 2 weeks, told me I had wasted 17 years of my life. We have since reconciled. But it was kind of one of those things where it's like, shouldn't we all just be fucking happy that I'm not out like robbing banks and like doing meth and shit? Like,
Mhm.
I'm still going to church every Sunday. At that point, I was still going to church every Sunday. And it's like the whole point, like you said, is just be a good fucking human being. Like, we
Yeah.
have gotten away from just being a decent human being. Like,
Well, that's like the most interesting thing about like the Church of Satan. Like people think that they're
yep.
like these like horrible people, but it's actually they're like, no, 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 we're just trying to like we're
Did you
trying to do
watch
the right thing. I watched the HBO documentary on it. Yeah, it was really
Hail
great.
Satan?
Yeah, it
Yeah.
was really it was
I
fascinating.
watched it and thought about, and Glitter and I've had this conversation, but it's like I thought about joining the Church of Satan.
Yeah.
It just the name is so fucking direct.
I mean,
Like
dude, the
it's a
merch, dude.
well, and that's
You know?
the Satan has the best merch. Or I shouldn't say it's
Yeah.
Satan, but that old gothic stuff. Like I have this fucking 18 Visions long sleeve shirt with the big fucking Baphomet on it, and I'm
Hmm.
like, it just looks cool as shit. I don't know what to tell you. I wore it to Thanksgiving. It's a comfortable shirt too.
Going back to the horror movie thing, I wanted to ask you, like, what horror movie classics or like cliches actually like still hold up in your opinion?
Real quick, it's the Satanic Temple. The Church of Satan is the weird one. The Satanic Temple's the good one.
That's what it is. Okay.
Yeah, it's fucking. It's I always get them mixed up too.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
what horrors classics still hold up? Shouldn't I be asking you these questions?
I don't. I want to know. That's why I'm asking you.
So here's the thing. To me, D. Snyder's Strangeland is a fucking incredible movie
Mm.
because when I saw it when it came out. It is the most new metal soundtrack known to man, and I love new metal. And like, it was before the internet was a big thing, and it's literally just about meeting someone on the internet and then them fucking killing you, which no one really knew was going to become a huge problem in the world. So to me, that movie is incredible and I still love it, but that's because I saw when it came out. We did it on one of my old podcasts, and my co-host Corey had never seen it, and it was like, this movie is so bad, like it's just cheesy and fucking
That's
bad. So
interesting.
yeah, so I'm gonna have blinders on. The original Candyman is really good.
Yeah, I
I
like
still
the
like the
Candyman,
original
especially
It.
because it was in Chicago. I like that movie a lot.
Yeah. Well, and I think that has a lot to do with it. You obviously were a lot closer, but like hearing about Cabrini Green growing up and now seeing it like depicted in a horror movie was kind of a neat little thing.
Hmm.
I really like the old slasher movies to me. Like
I think they
they're
also hold up. Like when I think of like the Freddy movies, even the Jason movies, I'm like they're just fun to watch. And like I think if you go into it and you buy in, you're like, yeah, dude, someone's gonna get slashed. You know, that's pretty much all it is. And then there's good storylines too, but
yeah. I mean they all take that weird comedic turn.
yeah.
Like around three and on, they
Mm.
especially Nightmare on Elm Street, or Freddy starts with the one liners and shit like that. Um, a lot of the Stephen King stuff I think really holds up because it is a little different than everything else that was coming out
Mm.
at the time. Because all of the stuff is weird, but it all has like that sci-fi twist to it.
But
Um,
that's why maybe this is a hack take, but like that's why I thought like I Midsommar. It wasn't like my favorite movie, but I was like, at least I'm
It's
like, they did
good.
something different, dude. You know, I
Mhm.
really enjoyed that. I'm like, it was like you could go into that movie for 20 minutes and not know it's a horror movie, you know, and then you're like, oh, this is getting weird. This is, you know,
Yeah.
I
No,
thought,
and,
I
and
mean,
that's what I liked about it.
that's what I really liked
Hereditary
about it.
didn't get me, but Midsummer
Hereditary was just
did.
that. I mean, that little fucking girl, dude. Talk about wanting to punch somebody in the face.
I mean, there's that. Have you ever seen the Babadook?
Yes, I have.
If you want to fucking talk about punching a child in the face, watch the Babadook.
Another one. What's the movie with they move into a subdivision and they can't get out of the subdivision no matter what they do.
Oh fuck. Vivarium.
Yeah, that's Vivarium. That was a phenomenal movie. But that fucking kid in that movie, man, I wanted to. I mean, that's the point of him, right? But his
Yeah,
voice,
yeah.
I mean, everything about him, just it got to me, and I thought that was really impressive. I'm like, they made this kid so hateable and so terrible.
But that's what the kid is there for. And
Yeah, but they
Vivarium
do
is
such a
another
good
one. Like,
job of it.
yes, and that was another one that was it was a little different. It was like the first new story, I guess, the first new take on something.
Yeah,
There was one. What the fuck did we just watch? Oh, did you watch Slaughterhouse yet?
I haven't seen it. I started it. I got like 10 minutes in, and it's worth it. Worth the watch.
I mean, background. Like, don't expect a whole lot, but Talk to Me. That was another one where we were both like, this is finally a new concept.
What about Smile? Did you like that?
Watch It Follows instead.
Yeah,
Because it's this. Have you seen It Follows?
I don't think I have.
But have you seen Smile?
I watched half of it.
Okay, so It Follows is Smile, but they're using sex to pass it along instead of smiling.
Oh yeah, I like that.
So, and they're making an It Follows 2 or It Follows
Oh, that's
Again or
kind of
whatever the
cool.
fuck they're gonna call it. Yeah. So,
You know, there's a horror movie I watched when I was a kid at my neighbor Nick and Joe Shalacy's house. They're brothers, and I don't even remember if this is. I don't know the name of the movie. I remember how much it scared me, and I remember for years I would have a dream that I would be in the fucking movie. I don't even know the name of it because they had it like it was one of those things where I came over and they were like 10 minutes in.
mm,
But the concept of this movie, and maybe you could tell me what it is. It was something where like this kid always had the light on, like he always had to have a light on. Some whatever the monster or the thing was
fuck.
would kill. You know what I'm talking about? And then he ends up going crazy. So like, dude, you can't always have a light on. He's like, no, I need the fucking light on.
Yeah, wasn't it based on like a short? And you may not even know that.
I wouldn't even know. But I remember seeing that, and that scared me so much, dude. And for years, I would just have dreams where I'd be a guy where like I can't talk, I can't move, I can't. I'm like, I have to keep the light on, and the light would be like going out.
Lights Out.
Oh well,
That
that's it.
Yeah, it's a pretty on the nose name, but it is, yeah. So it was based on a short that came out where it's basically like a girl walking down the hall to her bedroom and she would turn the light off and then think she heard something and turn it back on. And she would see like the outline, but to turn it on, it would be gone. And then eventually she gets into bed.
Is that it? I mean, that sounds like the exact thing. When did it come out? No, that's 2016. It would have been before that, but it was like the same thing.
Shutter? Oh, it's a Japanese movie.
I feel like Japanese horror movies would be good.
Yeah, Japanese. But that's the thing. It's like Korean and Japanese movies are really good, but they take weird turns very quickly.
Mm-hmm.
Like I refuse to watch Korean movie. I don't want to watch Old Boy. Those are two that everyone's like, you got to watch them. I'm like, I don't know. I like enjoying things. I don't want to
But
ruin everything.
I do like that you have that boundary movies because I'm the same way. Where like certain things, I'm like, well, I'm just not gonna watch it. You know, like I know that I would really like Yellowstone, and everybody keeps telling me to fucking watch Yellowstone, and I'm like, I'll watch Yellowstone when I watch Yellowstone, dude. I'm not in a rush to do it. And like I did the same thing with Sopranos, and I'm glad that I waited. I finally watched it, and I'm like, this show is great. It was really good. I'm
Mhm.
glad I didn't watch it when you wanted me to. I'm glad I don't know. There's some things I won't watch. There's some things I'll wait to watch. There's some things that just aren't on my priority. But the people that are like, you need to see this, and you're like, I want to fucking see it, dude.
My biggest pet peeve in life was when someone is like, "You'll really like this." It's like
Well,
maybe.
now I'm gonna go into it hating it because I fucking hate you.
Yep. Yep. I don't like when someone's like, "You're really yeah. This you're gonna like. You're gonna love this." I'm like, how the fuck do you know what I'm
Yeah.
gonna love?
Anyway, guys, I'm gonna be at Skyline Comic Con. You guys are gonna love it. So come see that.
Hey, no, that is true. That is true. I will be there Thursday night with Ken and his hair. Um, I do. I was gonna message you. We can do this now, but I want to take you to dinner on Saturday or lunch,
I'm
like a
down,
late lunch.
dude.
But I don't know which this is a question I did want to ask. We're gonna jump back to your fucking comedy life, but like, do you have like a routine of like what you do the day of a show?
It depends. If I'm already in the city, I'll usually wake up. I usually just put my head. I usually go work out. I don't usually. I try not to set an alarm on the road unless I'm going fishing. But if I can't go fish, then I'll go to a record store. I collect a bunch of old stand-up comedy records, so I buy a lot of
Nice,
them on the road. And then I'll literally just walk around. I'll go to a diner. I really like going to a diner. I go to a diner pretty much every day, at least a coffee shop, get breakfast, and then I'll pretty much just put my headphones on. If I've never been to the city, I'll just walk around for like two,
yeah,
3 hours, get a feel of it, and then I'll go home. Probably just watch TV, sleep for a little bit, and then I go get
nice,
dinner and then do the show.
cool. Yeah, so yeah, we can hit up a Roding Winds. There's have you been to Tempest Coffee in Appleton?
No, is it good?
So yeah, it's great. They serve Spy House, which is out of Minneapolis.
Okay, yeah, I'm in.
It's
I'm
not
in.
yeah, it's not far from Skyline. It's just across the river. And then there's a Thai joint I want to take you, or Vietnamese and Thai place that I
I'm
want to take you
down,
to.
dude. I'm down for anything, especially like when I'm in Appleton. I went to that. I go to that pizza place. I went to that pizza place once or twice after shows there. It's a shitty. I mean, it's fine. It's like some college one. It's like the $5 giant slice with like a soda. It was fine.
Frank's or Sal's or
It's one of the two. I just remember there was like an Italian lady there.
yeah, there's a lot of like trash. There's Toppers is down there. Glass Nickel's
Mm.
really good. That's like there's only a couple around the state.
I feel like you can't go
Um,
wrong with a burger in Wisconsin, though. I feel like anywhere in the Midwest, you get like a burger or a brat, it's gonna be pretty fucking good.
that's a good
You know,
point. Home Burger Bar, if you haven't been there, that's right on College.
never been.
If you have time, try and hit
I'm
that place.
interested to try that Vietnamese place you said. That sounds pretty good. Anyway,
Dude, it's
people are gonna get bored of this. People don't want to hear
fucking
about my dietary.
generally we talk about what people had to eat for dinner. So what'd you have for dinner? Did you eat dinner?
I had Costco sushi.
I mean,
Is that bad?
was it good? No, not at all. I love sushi. I have not had Costco sushi yet.
I will tell you this. I will live and I will die by anything sold at Costco or Trader Joe's.
So the company I work for, Costco is a minority owner, so I get a free
Mm,
membership, and I fucking have yet to go and sign up.
dude.
Now it's the holiday season. I don't want to go deal with people.
I mean, dude, the Costco Shang Wang has some amazing jokes on his special on Netflix about Costco's parking lot and shopping in Costco. It's a fucking crazy place, but it is totally worth it, dude.
I think it was in 2021, two people killed themselves in the Costco parking lot in Appleton. And like, I'm the horrible human being that when I'm at work and something goes wrong, I'm just like, oh, I'm just gonna fucking go to Costco.
That's so funny, dude. I like that they did it in bulk. Too soon. Okay. All
God,
right,
no,
thanks.
no, that was fucking awesome. I'm
I
so
like that you
proud
said
of you.
I like that you said the Costco thing. I'm gonna talk about that next time I'm there. Like, what's up with you guys?
Absolutely.
What's up with you guys in Costco?
It's a real sad place. Yeah, I used to think that the saddest place on earth was a Hardee's bathroom, but it turns out it's the Costco parking lot.
In Appleton, Wisconsin.
Yeah, of all places.
Oh,
Um, fuck yeah, no, we really took a left there. Are you familiar with Meth Syndicate, the clothing company?
no.
He apparently has like bumper stickers, and it's just the menu item for the $1.50 hot dog. It's fucking weird shit.
I convinced my buddy Max to get a Costco card, and he goes there for lunch like twice a week now. He's like, yeah, dude, he goes, I've been saving so much money. I'm like, yeah, but you're only eating hot dogs or a slice of pizza.
There was two. I still work with them, but it was pre-pandemic. They would go to Costco once a week for lunch. Like, yeah, we're gonna go get that hot dog today. I'm like, why is this like a fucking monumental moment in your life?
It's like $1.50. I was at Costco today, dude. Got the sushi.
Yeah,
And
getting sushi.
I got a knife set. I got a new set of knives today. I've been talking about getting a knife set for so long, and it's $89. Whatever. I don't want to get in the Costco thing, dude.
I
People
mean,
are gonna hate
I've
this.
been looking for a knife set too. I'm in the market. Let's talk about this now. Is it cut?
$79.99 knife set Costco. Pretty good.
No, not bad. Is it Cutco?
No,
No.
no.
So it's
Don't bring that bullshit up to my door. Don't bring that bullshit to my door. The thing is, they're supposed to be decent knives. I think the people that sell them are just in high school. You know.
oh, absolutely. Yeah, we went to it was a collectible and craft fair in Green Bay this weekend, and some dickhead had a Cutco booth. You know, trying to run up to you and shit. I'm like, please just leave me alone. I just want to
Get the fuck.
purchase my pagan soaps and go home. There was a soap place that every soap is named after like death metal band songs.
It's kind of cool. Yeah, you got to get the soap. You got to support that person.
Well, exactly. So so I bought 3 bars of soap for $15, but it was like, oh, this one's named after a death song. Like, well, I have to have that. Like, middle-aged women have no idea. It's just named Holy Mountain. Like, oh, okay.
What would be like a good like soap name for like a rapper, like for hip hop groups?
I think you're going to be better at this than I am. You're more quick-witted, but what could you change Wu-Tang Clan as a bar of soap?
uh,
Clean Hands Clan?
yeah, Boo Clean Clan. I don't know.
The Wu Clean Clan. Busted Dirts.
Busted Dirt's pretty good. Pretty good.
No, you don't have to make me feel better about those. Aren't good. Like, I'm gonna wake up in the middle of the night and have a great one, and you're just gonna get a fucking
dude. I gotta tell
yeah. I'm gonna fucking just send you a message about soap name. We could start a rap soap company. Speaking of, have you ever eaten rap snacks?
I haven't eaten rap snacks. I heard they're pretty good though.
They're fucking incredible. The Notorious B.I.G. honey jalapeno honey mustard, I think.
Do you remember the scene? Do you remember the scene in that movie where he's like, his mom? Did you watch Notorious? Did you see the movie?
I did not.
Oh, there's a scene in there when he's in high school and his mom like finds like this crack that he's making or that he has or whatever, and she just goes, maybe it's not crack, I was just fucking. She goes, "Why do you have potatoes under your bed? I threw them out. Why'd you have mashed potatoes?" And he's like, "Mom, they were mashed potatoes." And I was like, dude, I don't know anything about drugs, but I don't think I'd ever mistake drugs for mashed potatoes.
I have a funny mistaken drug story for you.
When
I was living with my parents, are you familiar with what a steamroller is?
No.
Okay, so you take a soda can and you take the front and you kind of like smush it down so it looks like a car drove over the top. So the lid and the bottom are both. And then what you would do is you would leave the mouth like hole open, and then you poke holes in the bottom of the can and you'd put your weed on there and then you could smoke it.
Got it.
So kind of shit. So yeah. So I made a steamroller because I was like fucking 19 and had my bedroom door locked, and it was like 11:30, and for some reason my mom came in my room. Well, the door's locked, so she's pissed, and then walks in and smells weed, and then starts going around my room trying to find it, and pulls the steamroller out and just throws it, not knowing what the fuck it is. Yeah, and then she was like, "I'm gonna go wake up your dad," and I was like, "Whoa, let's not do that. Let's not do that. Like, I know I'm kind of a shitty kid, so it's like you just ultimately fucking roll over and like just end this." And then I flushed all my weed down the toilet, and like an hour later, I was like, "God damn it."
Yeah, dude, you can't wake him up at 11 p.m. as a Lutheran, dude.
No, and that's like I assume, and I've yet to have this discussion with my dad, but he was like a big Rush fan and like Kiss and stuff. And yeah, he would tell me about like going to Alpine Valley to see Rush, and like undercover cops would be sitting on the hoods of like big rigs and looking in cars to see who was like rolling joints and shit. So I'm like, crazy. I'm pretty sure my dad got down, but he has not told me
yet.
Yeah. So it wouldn't have ended well because he's very straight-laced at this point in life. But fuck, man, we're all over the place. Not in a bad way. I'm not upset about it one bit. What do you have for comedy dates? Because you've been getting around a lot. I want to make sure we talk about that because it's been pretty impressive to see. What you have Orlando coming up, I believe you did.
No, I just did Orlando. I was thinking about this today. I mean, this is my first year headlining, but I've headlined clubs in Cincinnati this year, Cleveland, Austin, Seattle, Orlando. Kind of been all over the place, which has been fun. I've gotten to see a lot of, all over the Midwest. I feel like I've been to every single corner of Wisconsin. I think this year I've headlined in Sheboygan, Oshkosh, La Crosse. I can't remember, so many fucking places in Wisconsin, man. I've been to every corner. I love Wisconsin because I get to fly fish whenever I'm there. I'm gonna be in Appleton, December 14th through the 16th. It's Skyline Comedy Club featuring Ferdinand Hashem, and then the 23rd I'm gonna be in Sheboygan Falls.
Where in Falls?
It is the bowling alley. I forgot what it's called. It's a really
Odyssey
good show.
Fun Center.
The Odyssey Fun Center. That's it. So the day before I'm going to be at Pasquale's up in Negwani, Michigan. The next day you come down. It's like a little runner show. It's been going on for like 40 years. Pretty historic run. The bowling alley is interesting. It's the show's always packed. It's good. But
funny story about that bowling alley. My cousin he was a professional bowler, and he went to Vegas and won so much money that he bought that place.
Get the fuck out of here.
So he's not the owner anymore. Like I think JB Barton Bowling Centers, I think, bought it from him. But yeah, there was a period of time where my cousin owned it. I used to bowl I bowled a lot as a child.
Yeah, you look like you bowled a lot.
The fuck is that supposed to mean? I have a 300 ring. You want to kiss it?
Dude, you bowled a 300?
Yeah, when I was 19, bowled a 300 in an 801 series, and then abruptly stopped bowling. I'm like, I'm done.
You couldn't do that as a Catholic, dude. That's the Lutheran spirit inside of you.
My mom was the one that pushed me to bowl.
That's what I'm saying.
So yeah, I used to bowl every Saturday and Sunday morning. I was doing traveling league in high school. I was ranked in the top 100 high school bowlers in the state of Wisconsin. I had a bunch of scholarships that went to the wayside because I never fucking went to college correctly until I was like 25.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I bowled a lot at Odyssey. It's probably the biggest turnoff to my wife is my bowling career.
Really?
Yeah.
I thought it'd be like everything else. That's like the coolest thing you've done, dude. You fucking bowled a 300.
Yeah, I also really like soccer, which she despises too. So that's
kind of
strike 2 for her. Yeah, she doesn't like video games. I'm actually, the more I talk about this, I'm shocked I've been married this long. But
how long have you been married?
We had 12 years in November.
See, that's horror.
Well, I mean, we don't have kids, so it's really not that difficult.
Pretty chill.
Yeah. And, she has her stuff to do. I have my stuff to do.
She falls asleep to horror movies. That's pretty crazy.
Yeah, it's either that or she's been watching a lot of like weird fishing videos, but it's like a guy who finds like she had to explain this to me because I'm like, the fishing videos are getting a little weird.
What are they? Because now we're talking.
If she's still awake, I can ask her to send them to me. But she said it's
send them to me.
Yeah, I'll have to ask her. But she said it's like a guy who goes out into like his sewage runoff and he finds like these tank fish that people just flush down the toilet, and then he rescues them and then he builds tanks for them and shit. So it's not really fishing. He's like fish rescue.
Still pretty cool. Okay, he's rescuing the fish, or as the fish call it, being recaptured.
Maybe, I don't fucking know.
Pretty good.
But yeah, so it made a little more sense. She's big into animal rescue stuff. So like the rescuing a fish to re-tank them, rehome them or whatever, it made a little more sense than just some guy fucking fly fishing or some shit.
Yeah. Damn. All right. Well,
I don't want to let these go because these are great. So Glitter said some soap names.
Yeah, I want to hear them.
We got Biggie Suds.
Biggie Suds is good. I had that in my head. That was the one because I had the Suds going. I know.
I'm pretty pumped about this one. Busted Germs.
Fuck, that's really good. Okay.
Ooh, Busted Grime.
Busted Grime's really funny.
Yeah, and then Clean MX.
Clean MX. Fuck, who is this? They write for the Tonight Show. These things are that's pretty good.
We play horror games together quite often. Good. Yeah, no, she's a fucking angel of a human being. I really took a right when I should have taken a left there, but.
Hi, hello everyone, it's Erica. I bet you weren't expecting me at the tail end of this episode, but Houston, we had a small problem with the audio. As much as I would love to blame Matt and his general buffoonery, it's simply technology being a dick. So please make sure to check out DJ on Instagram, and if you're interested in checking out his live performances, please head over to his website and scope out his upcoming tour dates. You will not regret it. Big thanks to DJ for taking the time to sit down and chat with Matt, and thank you for listening to this episode of Monster Madness. See you on the next one.